Yeah, so before we start today's lesson, which is on which is lesson 3, let me just say a few things about exercise 2. So far, all those who have sent their exercise 2 have gotten everything, which is very good. And the answers that I received, oh, they were so wonderful. So just continue like that. Julia is very easy, and we are doing, like I said when we were starting Julia programming, that I'm going to teach you Julia as people who have never done any other programming languages. So you find out that if you have ever done any other language, maybe Python or R or any other language, Julia is you find Julia very easy. It's like hot knife through butter. But if you have never done any language, the way I'm teaching Julia, it is still very easy for you. So that is how I want us to move. Whether you know or you don't know, we are going to move at very slow pace and very understanding pace. So exercise 2, well done. Exercise 1, kuna watu ambao hawakufanya vizuri, but I told you I corrected some few things and I believe it's now okay. So everybody sent me their exercise 2 in notebook form, which is good. That is the form that we recommend. You download in notebook form. So far, nothing to talk about in exercise 2. And for those who have not yet done exercise 2, do it. For those who did not do exercise 1, do exercise 1 and 2. Yeah, any exercise that you miss, just do and send them to me. I'll receive them anytime. So there is no limit. But if you send them earlier, the better. It is Yeah, if you send earlier, you give me a very easy time. So it is advisable that you send them very early. Yeah, so all of you should launch your Julia apps. Not Julia. Uh, right now we are not using Julia REPL anywhere. So let us open Jupyter. Let us open Jupyter Notebook. There is mine. And after opening Jupyter Notebook, just go to New Julia, and then you know what we do here. We name the notebook lesson 3. Today we are doing lesson 3. So you can just name it Julia lesson 3. Lesson 3. Yes. So Julia lesson 3. Before we start Julia lesson 3, let us just see what we did in lesson 2. Julia lesson 2 is here. Let us see what was covered in lesson 2 very fast. Yeah, so this is what we covered in lesson 2. Lesson 2, we continued with string interpolation. We introduced string in lesson 1. Sorry. We introduced string in lesson 1 and we continued with it in lesson 2. So what we did in lesson 2 was to interpolate the strings. So that is where the exercise came from and all of you did well. So there's nothing to review there. After string interpolation, we did string indexing. And I was to give you an exercise on string indexing where I expected us to index the alphabet, create some words. But I realized that it needed some function, which is join function. And because I had not yet taught you join function, I said that we carry that to our today's class. So that is where we want to begin with. We want to continue with indexing, but introduce join function. So let us move direct to that. Yeah, so lesson 2, string indexing, join function. That is our first topic. Now, so join function makes it easier to do string indexing that involves many characters. I will elaborate it with an example. So I gave some exercises. No, I am giving. We are tackling them in class. So let's say they are examples because they are not exercises. Uh-huh. Yeah, these are some examples we want to use. But before we use the examples, let me just go back to what I told you to do, then do them there. Yeah, I remember I told you, let me cut this part. Yeah, I told you to make some words using a string of an alphabet. Make some words using a string of alphabet. So this was our string of alphabets. So let us just write them in lesson 3. Alphabet, alphabet. So let's string the alphabet. Alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So that is our alphabet. We want to string. We want to index the string, the alphabet string, to create some words. So before I introduce join function, let me let me just index them normally, right? Let me just index them normally and let's see what will happen. So normal indexing, let's say you want to have you want to make a word, not necessarily a word, but what can I call it? You want to just create some characters because if I say a word, it is readable, but we want to create some joint characters from the alphabet, from the string of alphabet using indexing. So the indexing that we learned in our last class was you write the variable, then you index. So index is all about positioning. So you give positions. And my battery is low. Yeah, so you give positions. For example, if you write the variable and insert one there, it will give you the first character in that index, in that string. So our string of alphabets, the first character is letter A. So it will just print out letter A and it will tell you what the character is. It is a character of a letter and it is an uppercase letter. So it is giving more information about the character A. So if you want to print maybe many, I gave you two ways to do that. So the first way, just write our variable alphabet. Short form is alph. Then if you maybe want the first 5 characters, you just type 1 to 5, and the symbol we use there is colon. So if you say 1 to 5, it will print out the first 5 elements. What is it writing? It is writing that element, that 1 to 5. Oh, no, you should not use equal sign when indexing. You just use the brackets. The reason why it's bringing an error is because there was an error before and we didn't go back to the first cell. So let's go back to the first cell and solve it like that. So it will give you the first five characters, which is A, B, C, D, E. So that is what we said in our last class. So what if you want to create a word? For example, you want to write the word set or seat. Let's say you want to write the word seat, which is a verb. Seat is made of S, it's made of I, and it is made of T. So let's create that. So Alf, we love Alf, and then the first position is S. So in alphabetical order, where does S fall? Which number is S? So Z is 26, W is 25, X is 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. So S is 19. Then let's say you want to combine it with I is number I, J, A, B, C, D. That is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I is number 9. Then again you combine it with the T. You again combine it with the T. T is found in S was 19, so T is 20, and you run. So it will give you SIT. So whatever we've done in this cell is we've concatenated. So the word is concatenation. Uh, concatenation. Concatenation means we just combine. So we've combined everything. We've combined the first character that we wanted, which is S, to the second and the third to create the word seat. So you see that is it is an acceptable method, but it becomes a challenge when you have to create a very large word. For example, if you want to write the word, what is what is an example of a very large word? Hospital, for example, not so large, but it is very large. Uh, Onomatopoeia, something like that. There are a lot of letters there. So if you want to combine by using the multiplication sign or the concatenation sign, it becomes tiresome. So there is a shortcut to do that if you have a very long word, and that is now what we want to learn in our today's class. So the first topic is join function. So let us write the topic. You know how we write topics, huh? So use the same formula that we use every day to write topics. So topic one today is string indexing using joint function. Then let's make it a heading. Okay, shift enter. Now it is a title. Very smart, eh? So string indexing using joint function. So what joint function does is it helps you not have so much work when trying to yeah, string functions help you not to have so much work when trying to index in order to create a very large word. For example, let us create a word, any large word. Meanwhile, you can write for me any word that you think. has a lot of letters in the comment section so that we try and index it using join function. So I'm going to write the first word which I want us to index using join. So our first word is hospital. Hospital is our first word. So let us try and string that. So before I string hospital, let me just write the entire alphabet here so that it gives us an easy work to know which letter comes, which to know the order of the letters from number 1 to number 26. So I'm going to create a or where is V? Or what am I writing? I don't know why it's not. Okay, let me just create a table. This one won't write everything here. So let me create a table here. So Japheth, where was I? I was creating a table. Yes, so this is the order. So 26. So I want you people to let us go very fast. So I want us to write the order of the letters that create the word hospital, right? So hospital, we start with H. H is 8, O is 15. So I want you to help me there. So in the comment section, just write the order of letters that make, the order of numbers that make the letter hospital, and separate them using commas. Yeah, just type in the comment section. So nobody is typing. Let me just write them. You people are not typing. You don't want to make my work easier. So the word hospital, the order is H. So you see, my work is very difficult. You could have made it easier by just telling me the order. H is 8, O is 15, like that, so that we move very fast. So 8, 15, 8, 15, 8, hospital. S is 19, B is 50, 16, 19, 16, 19, 16. I is 9, T is 20, so 9, 20, 1, 12, 9, 20, 1, 12. So those are the words that make hospital. That is the index, the order of those numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is okay. So we have the word hospital. So in our variable known as alpha, we want to create the word hospital using indexing, but this time we are introducing a function called join function. Oh, I made a mistake. It is not joint function, it is join. So we are introducing join function. So this is how you introduce join function. You introduce another variable. You can call it I, then use the square brackets. After bringing the variable I, key in all those numbers that forms the order of the name hospital inside that bracket. So just write them with commas: 8, 15, 16, oh no, 19, 19, 16, 9, 20, 1, and 12. So after creating the variable I, you now use indexing. But before you use indexing, just use the join function first. So we are joining. So what are we joining? Every function is indicated with the normal brackets. Don't indicate a function with a square bracket or the other bracket. You use the round brackets. So after writing join, you write the name of the variable that we want to join. The one we want to join is alphabet. So alph. Then you use the index brackets, which are the square brackets. So inside the index brackets, you write the word, not the word, but the variable that you are indexing. So remember we introduced a second variable. So that is the variable you input there. So we input the variable I. Then you press shift enter. It will create the word hospital. And then there is something I've remembered with your exercise too. All of your answers from today onwards, if I give you any answer that involves strings, ensure that your final answer has been printed out so that your final answer does not contain the string signs. So let us make use of the print ln and print. Right now I told you you won't know the difference, but you'll know the difference when we tackle functions. But for now, let us use print functions to give our final answers. For example, this join function, we can still print. We can still use the print function, print. And then the word will not have the string symbols. It will just be hospital. So let us make use of that a lot. Ndio tuizoee. So that is the word hospital. There are other words that you can also string using the print and join function. So in this example, we've used two functions. We've used print function and join function. But what we were learning is just join. Print function is what you know from the first lesson. So let's see, the next is your first name. So that is upon you to do. I want you to I want you to index your first name using the same formula that we have used here. Remember, we were indexing hospital. Now index your first name. If you are called Matthew, index Matthew. If you are called uh, if you are called Eugene, index Eugene. If you are Gloria, index Gloria. So you use the same joint function to do it. So I'm giving you like 2 minutes to do that. Then we shall all together index the next word, which is Julia. So 2 minutes, 2 minutes, do that. Yeah, so just continue doing that work. Continue stringing your name. No, indexing, using the join function. I don't know why I say joint instead of join. So don't be confused. It is join. Join. So ukishafanya hiyo kazi, if you want to show us whatever you've done, you can maybe share your screen. You are allowed to share your screen to show us whatever you've done. So anybody who is comfortable with sharing their screen, just do that. kuna hiyo, you see this section, or you are not seeing, you cannot see. There is that section in the middle of the options hapo chini kwa screen yako, that section with an arrow. That, that section with an arrow, that is where you click, then you can share your screen with us. Ndio tuone umeandika aje jina yako. Eh, that is if you are done. Yeah, let me give you 1 more minute to finish that work. At 6:48, it is 6:47, 6:48. Ensure umemaliza. Sio kazi ngumu. Just index your name. And I said that somebody can share the screen. Hata kama bado unafanya, you can share so that we see what you are doing. Don't feel shy. Usikue shy kushare your screen. Yeah, the minutes I gave are over. So we can just, because you people have refused to share your screens, we are going just to do it together again. So if you didn't get it right, if you didn't get it right, then just see it here. We were to string our first names, and my first name is, let me give myself a name that has 3 characters. Which one is that? What can I call myself? Let me call myself G.
Man.
Somebody is talking. Kuna mtu ameongea.
Jiite man.
Mark ni 4. Nataka ya 3.
Man.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Let me call myself man. Uh, huh. So man is my name. Now let me create that word man. Man M. M inapatikana. M is 13, A is 1, N is 14. So 13, 1, 14. 13, 1, 14. Uh, So as I said, we normalize using print function or print ln. So instead of just creating join first, I just want to print everything. I just want to print everything. I just want to write everything inside the print function, println. So what are we printing? We are printing the join function. And what are we joining? Pardon, I did not join. Amniambi. So we are joining first. So let's say the what we are joining is y. So y is equals, so man we said is 13, 1, 14. So that is what we are joining. So join, remember we are joining alphabet. We are joining our variables alpha, and under alpha we are indexing 13, 1, and 14. And because we gave them a common variable y, we just write y. Then in this case, you can see the number of brackets. The number of open brackets are 2. The number of closed brackets are 1. So introduce the another closed bracket, then enter, shift enter. So you see the word has been created, man. So we've given it a print function. Kama hutaki kuprint yote hivi, if you don't want to print everything, then you can again introduce another variable for join. For example, we were joining man. You can say that man is D. So D is uh, no, we say D is join. D is join alf y. Then you print now, you now print D. I hope hiyo ni rahisi mmeelewa eh? Then you print so the same, it's the same way eh? It will give you the same outcome man. So you can use this way or just write everything in a line. I think writing everything in a line will make you look like a pro, because it is somehow very, no, not complicated, but it makes you look like you know what you're doing. It makes you look like a coder now, a programmer. So that is it. Let's see what the next is. The next says, where were we, one? So, oh, the questions were in PowerPoint. So we've done hospital, we've done your first name, we have not done Julia. We can do Julia, we can do tech savvy. Let's do tech savvy and see. Let's do tech savvy. Yes, tech savvy. So letter T, where is it found? T is 20, E is 5, C is 3, 25, 3, 8. Acha tuanze na hiyo. 25, 3, 8. 25, 3, 8. We continue. Eh? Tech savvy. SAVVY. S 19 1 V is 22. So you remember it is double V now. So 19 1 22 22 25. 19 1 22 22 25. Yeah, so that is what we are indexing. So let's create for it a variable. What can we say about the TechSavvy? TechSavvy is equals 25 3 8 19 1 22 25. Yeah, then we join and we can do the printing. We can just print direct, print ln. We are printing the join function of alpha variable, and inside the alpha variable we have what? We have ts. Then you print. Whoa, what is this? What the hell is this? Texav w. Oh, we were to have 222s, 22 22. It is still not giving Texa w. 25 Texa v. 25. Funny, which is the 25th letter of the alphabet? W A X. No, we wrote, instead of Y, we wrote W. So X Y Z. So let us print up to the last one. It will give Texavi. Awesome. So that is how we do indexing. So I'll give you an exercise on indexing tukimaliza the lesson. That is the exercise for today. Then I'll give an assignment now. Assignment is for the whole week. Kitu tumefanya on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Oh no, Monday, Wednesday, and today. So the first exercise is the string stuff. So because you refused to string your name, you are going to do that, to send me that as your first exercise, because you did not share your screens. So you are going to share with me that one as your exercise for indexing using join function. I think it is clear. You can write it down. You can write it down. Here it is. Here it is. Use join function to create the following. No, use join function to create your first name from a string of 26 alphabetical orders. Write it the way I've said it. Andika venye nimesema, exactly the way I'm saying it. I'm saying use join function to create your first name from a string of 27, 26 alphabetical letters. Hey, alphabetical letters. Hiyo ni English gani? That is not the right alphabet letters, not alphabetical letters. Use join function to create the following. Note the following. Use join function to create your first name from a string of 26 alphabet letters. So that is the assignment. No, the exercise. The exercise for today's lesson. Now let's move to the next thing. Remember, indexing was just to be a continuation of lesson 2. Now, in this lesson, we were to learn we were to learn arrays, arrays of vector and arrays of matrix. So because of time, we are going to look at arrays of vector, then we end our lesson there. We are not going to look at arrays of matrix. Sawa. So the note is saying a vector is a one-dimensional array that can hold elements of any data type. You can create a vector using the same syntax we were using, the syntax of square brackets. You can create a vector using the square bracket syntax and by using fill function. So there are two ways of creating a vector: using the square brackets and using a function called fill, the fill function. So e.g., I have given an example there, so let me just do the example here. So you can write what we are now doing. We are doing vector. So write the title vector. Ukipenda you can write vector array, still acceptable. Hmm, no. Yeah, so to write vector, he said you use this symbol, the square bracket. But because we have known now we can write variables. So let's say our vector is going to include or is going to have variables representing age. Let's say the age of students in a class, maybe in this Julia class. So our vector is age. Our variable is age. So the values there, maybe you are, let me just guess your age. So somebody here is 15, another is 12, another is 20. 20 is the only one making sense. Another is 23, also making sense. 37, there is no 37 here. 31, 24, 21, 24, 25. So isn't it the age? And we can just continue. Let's make them even more. 43, there's no 43 here, maybe the trainer. 20, 27. So let's say in a class, this is this is the age limit. This is the values representing age of different people in a class. So I don't know a class. I don't think there's a class that can have a 12-year-old and a 37-year-old. Maybe in a room, the people in a room, these are the values of their ages. So one is 15, another is 12, etc. Now, this is what we call a vector. Because if you press shift enter, it will tell you that the output will say that it is a 12 element vector. And it is a vector having integers. All the elements inside are integers. So, having said that, let us go back to the definition of a vector. A vector is a one-dimensional array that can hold elements of any data type. You can create a vector using the syntax and by using fill function. So the first data type we've used is integer. So what if we write another one that is not an integer? What if we write another variable that is not an integer, like 21.0? So what will happen is, I told you in our last class that the reason why number types is very important is because in the output or in any error message, the number types are always very common. More so Yeah, the number types. Let me just say the number types. They are always so common. So because integer and float are two different numbers, are two different are subtypes. They are subtypes of number type. So because they are subtypes, they cannot they cannot be used. You cannot have a vector having both integer and a float. I mean in the output. So what will happen is, because all vectors, no, all integers can be converted to floats. Because all integers can be converted to float, and not all floats can be converted to integer, Julia will convert everything to float. I hope umeelewa. You cannot convert all floats to integer, but you can convert all integers to float. For example, what has happened here is all integers have been converted to float by adding 0.0.0.0 to the end. Okay, that is understood. Hata kama ilikuwa 21.5, it could have still converted everything to 0.0.0. Then the one that is having a float, it will be written the way it is there. So let me just do away with the float. Let us do integers first. So we are having 13 element vector of integers. So back to our notes. So we've written vector. You see now we write vector using the square brackets. We've not yet used the fill. We are going to do that. So after writing that, we go to the next statement, which says various operations can be done on vector. Yes, various operations can be done on vectors. For example, the type of operations that can be done is sort. We can sort a vector. We can index. The same way we indexed string, we can also index vectors. We can do some arithmetic operations on vectors. We can concatenate. The word is very challenging to say. So if you are saying it very fast, we can concatenate a vector, no, two vectors to create one vector. Concatenating, you all know, tumeifanya hapo kwa string. It is all about combining different maybe variables or different strings to form one. In this case, we shall be combining different vectors to form one vector. We can do some sum, we can add, we can calculate mean, maximum, we can get the minimum value, maximum value, the mean value. Yeah, so let us start with the first one, which is sort. Sort. So sort is a function now. So we are introducing a function called sort. Sort. Now, what are we sorting? We are sorting our vector. What is our vector? Our vector is a variable. What is the variable? The variable is age. So we are sorting age. So just write age. Then, yes. No, let me just print. There is something I want to show you. I don't want it to list the I don't want it to be list. I don't want it to list the outcome downwards. So let me just print so that it can list, it can give the output as a vector again. Yeah, so if we print, the output is given as a vector. So what we have done is to sort. Now what is this sort? What is this sort? Look at those variables. Look at those values. Look at those values now. Now, before you look at them, look at these values: 15, 12, 20, 23, 37, 31, 21, 24. They are all mixed up. There is no specific order. But after sorting, what happens? It is arranging from the smallest to the largest. So that is the first thing, the first operation we are doing in vector. We are sorting, right? So that is going to, I'm going to give you an, so we are done with the exercise. Remember the exercise. Now I'm going to give assignments in bits. Assignments, huh? And our assignment is, oh no, let me just do away with all operations. Then I give one assignment that will include all these operations at once. So indexing, the next is indexing. And in indexing, it's just the same way we were indexing the strings. Let's say in this vector, you want to get the age of the third person in that room. The third person in that room. So you just index the third person. And the way we did indexing, it doesn't change whether it is whether we are dealing with strings or vectors. It doesn't change. The function is the same. We call it the delimiter. The delimiter is the same. Delimiters ni hizo, like for example in in uh, in indexing we use square bracket. So square bracket is our delimiter. That's a new term you've learned today. Yeah? So the delimiter doesn't change whether you are dealing with strings or vectors. That is if we are doing indexing. So if you want the third person, you want to know the age of the third person in that room, just write 3 and it will give you the age of the third person in that room. And the age of the third person in that room is 20. You can see very well that indeed it is 20 here. What about if you want to get the age of the last person in that room? The last person in that room, you just write end. End will just give you the end character, the final character in that vector, which is 21. No, 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 no. I don't want to call it a character because in Julia, a character means one thing. Anything that has 2 digits or 2 letters, it doesn't qualify to be called a character. So let me just call it a value 21. So if you index the last person, it will give you the age of the last person in that room. So that is indexing, as simple as that. The next operation we can do with vectors is arithmetic. I'm going to demonstrate that one. Arithmetic, and the one we want to use is addition. So let me just use addition vectors. We are still in vectors. So here, uh, let me just say what we were doing here. Sort. So here we were sorting. Yeah, that is, we were sorting. Now we want to do some arithmetic. In specific, we want to add vectors. So at this stage, we want to add vectors that have the same uh, the same the same number of elements, the same number of elements. For example, let's create our first vector, which is a. A is equals to 1, 2, 3. As simple as that. Then another vector b. B is equals to 4, 5, 6. So here are our vectors, two vectors, and we want to add our vectors. So C, we can just introduce another variable C, and we say that C is the sum of A and B. Yes, sahii mnajua functions mnajua variables. So A is a variable, B is a variable, C is a variable that will add, that is a sum. C is a variable that is a sum of A and B. So if you shift enter, what is happening here? Oh, it has given the outcome of C, but now vertically. It has not given it as a vector. So let us just print C. Let us print C so that we get that outcome as a vector. Print ln C. Yeah, beautiful. So all of you have gone to high school, and in high school you are told that you add vectors. Every element, every element in its position is added to the other element in the same position. So what I mean is, the first element in this vector A is 1. It must be added to the first element of vector of B. So 1 plus 4, that is 5. The second element, 2, is added to the second element of B, which is 5. So 2 plus 5 is 7. The same to 3 plus 6 is 9. So that is what has happened here. And now that is our final vector. And that is this another operation. The other operation we can do here is concatenation. Concatenation. Uh, just a minute. So I said that concatenation it's a combining function. You just combine. It's a combining operation. We use the multiplication symbol or the asterisk. Where is the class? Where were we? Oh, yeah. So let's look at concatenation. And I've said that concatenation is just about combining two. In this case, because we are dealing with vectors, it is all about combining two vectors to create one vector. For example, in the vector that we have just created, which is vector 1 and vector A and vector B, we can concatenate them using the concatenation symbol, which is the asterisk A, or times, you can call it the way you want, or star A times B. Oh, error. What is happening? Oh yes, yes, I know what is happening. In concatenating, there is also a function that we use. You just don't multiply them the way we were doing with strings. So there is a function called vcat and hcat. So vcat is just vertical, V for vertical, H for horizontal. So VCAT means that we want to concatenate and give our outcome vertically. So VCAT, let's do that. VCAT A and B. Yeah, then you'll get the elements. It has created one vector. So if we want to have it as a vector, we can print ln Then beautiful. So initially we had a vector of three. We had vector A which had three elements, vector B which had another three elements. So all those have been combined together to form one vector with six elements. The first three for vector A, the last three for vector B. So that is concatenation. Nothing much, eh? Nothing much. That's all. There is also edge cut. That is if you want the outcome horizontally. Let's see what will happen when we use edge cut. Oh, so avoid edge cut for vectors. Avoid edge cut for vectors. The reason why I'm telling you to avoid edge cut for vectors, it will create a matrix because it will display A vertically, then B vertically, meaning you will have a matrix, not a vector now. Let me see what if we print. How will it print vertical vertical concatenation? How will it print it? Avoid. So just avoid because this is still a matrix. This is a matrix. So when dealing with vectors, if you want to concatenate, use the function vcut. Don't use hcut. Mmeona kitu hcut inafanya inaleta matrix. So use vcut. Then there is sum. You can get the sum of every value that is inside that uh, vector symbol. So let you can get the sum, mean, max, mean. So this is how we do it. So let's say we want the sum of, do you remember this? Do you remember this one? Age. So let's say we want to get the sum of ages of every person there. We use sum function. Sum age. So 319. So the total number of the summation of age of all people in that room is 319. So that is the sum function. There is mean function. Let us see what about the mean age. The mean age of every person in that room. Or mean not defined. Why is mean not defined? Huh. uh, let me just check why mean is not defined. Let me just check why is mean not defined. Mm, mm, mm. Let me see mean. Mean, maximum. Why is it not defined? Just a minute, I'm checking why is it telling me not defined from the notes here. Hey guys, the function is just written right, but I don't know why it's not giving us the mean. Let me. There's nothing wrong with the function that I've written, but it's not giving the mean. Well, let me try minimum and see whether it will give. Yeah, if you try minimum, it will give you the minimum age of the people inside that room, meaning 12. 12 is the least. There's another one called maximum. I don't know why the mean function is not working, but I'll try and check it out. Maybe there is a package for using mean. Maybe there is a package for using mean. Let me try. Let me try a specific package. No, it's still not working with that package. So I'll try and look at that because this is the mean function. I don't know why it is not working. I'll look into that and I'll give you a report. So we go to the next item. Mean maxima, we are done with that. And overall, vectors are a powerful and essential data structure in Julia for representing and manipulating one-dimensional arrays of data. So we were dealing with one-dimensional arrays, only one dimension. If we have a 2D, that makes it that will make it a matrix. That's why I was avoiding using hcat because it was introducing a matrix. Yet you are learning vectors. So vectors is a one dimension, and that is even in the definition. A vector is a one dimension array that can hold elements of any data type. We have only used integer, but you can have a string inside a vector. You can have a character inside a vector. So it can hold elements of any data type. You can create a vector using the cross bracket symbol syntax and using the fill function. So let us see how fill function works. How fill function. Fill. What are we filling? I don't know how fill function works. So this is how fill function works. So fill function is very limited. The reason why I'm saying it is very limited, it can only give you a vector of one kind of one number only. You see, it is 5 element vector of 2. So it cannot give you vectors of mixed characters or mixed elements or mixed numbers. It will only give you a vector with 1, which is 2. Here we have used 2. So in this fill function, the first 2 is we are telling this we are telling Julia that we want a vector that has 2's. And how many 2's should they be? They should be 5 2's. So we want a vector of 5 elements, and every element is 2. Have you I hope you've understood. So because this one if you print it out, it will come out as a vector. If you print, it will give you in vector form. So we are having 5 element vector, and every element is equal to the other. And in this case, every element is 2. So that is what fill brings. So fill is very limited in that way. You cannot have mixed. So let us fill another one and see. Fill 0. Fill 0 how many times? 4 times. It is going to give you 0, an element, a vector of zeros. Yeah, so that is how we create a vector using fill function. But remember, fill function is very limited. Matrix and a vector, there is no much difference. The difference is in the dimensions and maybe some few elements. A matrix is a two-dimensional array that can hold elements of any data type. You can create a matrix using the cross bracket symbol. This symbol is used in so many things. So it's also used in creating matrix. You can also use fill function, the one we have just used in vectors, to create matrix. You can do various operations on matrix as well. The way we did operations on vectors, we can do arithmetic on matrix, we can do determinant on matrix, we can calculate eigenvalues, eigenvectors, but because you people have not done those topics, maybe some of you have not done uh, are not students of mathematics, I cannot go deep into those eigenvalues and eigenvectors and transpose. We can only do arithmetic and determinant. So let us check. Let us first of all let us create a matrix using the syntax open bracket. Yes. So let us open the bracket. Where are we? We are here. Remember, we are doing matrix. So we can write matrix. Make it a heading. Yes, that is the symbol. Now, remember in vectors we were using commas. In matrix, we don't use commas. We don't use that. So let's say our matrix is called X. X is equal to 1 space 2 space 3. So if I press shift enter, it will give me a 1 by 3 matrix. What we call 1 by 3 is in matrix there are rows and columns. That one you learned in class in from 2. Matrix is equal from 3. Rows and columns. So in matrix we have rows and columns. So when you are told a 1 by 3 matrix, it means that that matrix has one row and one column. No, has one row and 3 columns. Actually, ukiingia class, if you maybe you have an exam and the lecturer tells you make make 4 rows. Whatever he means is always columns, not rows. So rows are horizontal, columns are vertical. So lecturer anafaa aseme make 4 columns, not rows. Hata wewe you should be telling people like that. You should be using that term, rows right and columns right. So these are matrix 1 by 3 matrix, meaning it has 1 row and 3 columns. So row, column. Now let me create another matrix. Now how do we create maybe a matrix that will have 2 rows, 2 columns? It is done this way. Let us name it y. And zoea kutumia, niliwaambia zoea kutumia variable. Always assign whatever you are doing, even if it is a string, always assign that string to a variable to make your work easier. Because if you want to call it later, you can just use the variable instead of typing the entire thing. So we've given it a variable y. So y is 1, 2. No, we give space 1, 2. Then we now use semicolon. This means we are done with the first row. So if you include a column, if you include a semicolon and write the next, this is maybe 3, 4. That means it is the second row now. I said we want to create a matrix of 2 by 2. So let us just enter that. So it has created a 2 by 2 matrix of those elements that you are seeing there. So it has 2 rows and 2 columns. The first row has 1 and 2. The second row has 3 and 4. So I hope we are together there. So that is how we create a matrix. You can create a matrix of any form. You can create a matrix of 3 by 3. You can create a 3 by 3 matrix, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix. Oh, it is a 4 by, oh, it's a 4 by 2. A 3 by 3 matrix must have 3 elements in every row. So let us add. Yes, this is a 3 by 3 matrix. It has three rows and 3 columns. So you see how we create matrices. We use uh, the square brackets, but instead of commas, we just use spaces. After every element, you just use a space. So let me just tell you something that you can do with the matrix. Let's say you wanted to record ages or maybe weight or height. Let's use height. Height of maybe 3 students from your class. You can write the 3 students like this. Maybe the students are John, maybe Jill. A very important thing. We are writing names of people. You know, names of people is a string, so we string it. So we have Jill, we have Jane, and we have Joy. So these are the students. No, all of them are ladies. I like ladies. So let's say the what were we writing? The heights. So let's say the second row, the second row is of heights. So the first one is maybe 30 centimeters. Oh, somebody cannot be 30 centimeters. Can somebody be 30 centimeters? No. So let's use age. So maybe the first person is Jane is 32, Jane is 18, and Joy is 23. Oh, ni venye sasa the names and the numbers they are somehow appearing horizontal, not horizontal, but what do we call diagonal? They're appearing diagonal, but you can just see that Jill is 32, Jane is 18, and Joy is what? Joy is 23. So that is one thing you can do with the matrix. What about if we print this? What about if we print? Hey, will it work really? Printing will just write them the way we wrote them. So not important. Now the operation. Oh, there is this fill function. Let me just introduce fill function. And you remember fill function is limited. It was limited in vector, can only create one element. It is also limited here. So here it can only create. So in this case, we are filling what? We want to, we want a matrix, a 4 by 2 matrix. You see here, the second element in the fill function is 4, meaning we want a matrix with four rows and 2 columns. And all those rows and columns must have must be made by 3. So we have a 4 by 2 matrix of threes. Everything is a 3. So that is how we create matrix using fill function. Now, what we can do in matrix, we can do some arithmetic, we can do some, we can do determinants. And determinant, you learned that one in class, in in Form 1. So you learned determinant in Form 1, so all of you are familiar with determinant, even if you are not doing mathematics as a course right now, you are familiar with determinant. So determinant, we can maybe try and get a determinant of this value y. Yeah, and the determinant of y is 8.0007. So remember the determinant was ilikuanga, the determinant was always the difference of the product of the uh, primary diagonal minus secondary diagonal. Oh, most of you have forgotten. That is only if you are dealing with a 2 by 2 matrix. A 2 by 2 matrix is the one that you get the determinant by calculating the difference between the products of the primary diagonal and the secondary diagonal. But if you are using if you have maybe a 3 by 3 matrix or a 4 by 4 matrix, there are other methods that are used. You cannot use the normal method that you learned in Form 1. Statistics students, you know that. Pure mathematics students, you also know that. Arithmetic, we can look at some arithmetic here. I am done with this section. It's not needed. Don't save. Westlife. Yeah. How do we do arithmetic here? Now, what you learned in your high school that you can only add matrices of the same order. If it is a 2 by 2 matrix, you cannot add a 2 by 2 matrix to a 3 by 3 matrix, or a 2 by 2 matrix to a 4 by 2 matrix. You can only add matrices with the same order. So we want to create two matrices with the same order and add them. So let's say our first matrix is, I've used a lot of variables, so I don't know which one I've not used. Let's say P. Let's say P is our first matrix, and it is maybe a 2 by 2 matrix, 1, 2, semicolon, 3, 4. Then we have another matrix. Well, let's call it Q. Q. Today, this I think is the longest class we've ever had. But nothing wrong because it is we are still within 2 hour time. Bado hata ni 1 hour 30 minutes. So this is the normal time we always end our classes. But let us continue a little. Ukimaliza hii arithmetic we are done. 3 4 5 6 5 6 semicolon 7 8. Then we can now add just normal P plus Q. Then shift enter. It will give you, remember, if you are operating a matrix, if it is a 2 by 2 matrix, your answer will be 2 by 2. If it is a 3 by 3 and 3 by 3, your answer will be 3 by 3. So there are other things we can do with matrix, like multiplication with inverses, a lot of things. Actually, a lot of things we can do with the matrix, but those ones I will not do because not all of you are mathematics students. If you are doing intermediate Julia or maybe advanced Julia, this is just Julia for beginners. If you are doing advanced, I could have taught those ones, but because you people are juniors in Julia, we cannot do that. So let me see my notes. Inaisha wapi? Inaisha kwa dictionaries. So we are going to look at dictionaries next. We cannot look at dictionary today. In our next class, which is on Monday, we shall look at dictionaries. So right now, let's write the questions for assignment. Andika maswali za assignment. I want to give you assignment. Msisahau ile ya exercise. Ile ya exercise msisahau. Niliwapea exercise on join function ya kustring. So assignment itaanza mali lesson ilianza. Lesson ilianza hapa. So the first exercise was use string indexing, use join function. No, what was it? Use join function to create your first name from a string of 26 alphabet letters. So you are going to string the alphabet letters, then you start indexing your name. But remember to use the join function. So that is the exercise. So all of you, I believe, mmeandika, and I just want somebody to write for me that, and atanitumia inbox. Yeah, somebody to just write for me that, atanitumia inbox. Let me just point a random person to do me that. Terry. Terry, please, you are going to write for me that. Write for me those exercises that I'm going to give, then utanitumia inbox, because I'm not giving them from any book. I'm just giving them offhand. So that is the first exercise. The second, no, no, that is an exercise for today. Now I'm giving an assignment, now, not an exercise. I'm giving an assignment. So question one of the assignment. What is Julia programming? Hiyo ni question one. And I believe Terry is recording for me the questions. What is Julia programming? Question two. Oh yeah, thank you, Terry. Question two. Why is Julia programming? No, how does Julia programming achieve its speed? That is question two. How does Julia programming achieve its speed? Remember, Julia programming is one of the fastest programming languages in terms of how fast it gives a response or an output. So why is it? Why? How does it achieve that speed that it has? It has a speed like that one of C or C++. So how does it achieve that speed? That is question two. How does Julia achieve its speed? Aha, that is question two. Question three. Question three. What did we learn in lesson zero? I want to give something that we learned in lesson zero as question three. Uh, Question three. What is computer programming? Just write what is computer programming. Then question four, it is something that you are going to research on. You are going to research on different packages that are available on Julia. Then you write, you just list them. List any 5 Julia packages. So don't list plots, don't list fill, don't list sum. Actually, don't list the ones that we've used, but just list 5 other sorry. I'm talking about functions, yet I've told you to list packages. So don't use plots. Plots is a package. Don't use which other package? Don't list iJulia. I think those are the 3 that we've done, and Maki. So plots. So this is the question. I think it's question 4. Apart from plots, iJulia and Maki, list any other 5 packages on Julia. Julia has a lot of packages, so there are so many. List any other 5. And maintain the format of writing a package. There is no way a package can be written starting with a small letter. It must start with a capital letter. And there are some packages like, for example, there's a package called linear algebra. So that package, linear starts with the capital letter, algebra starts with the capital A. Linear capital L, algebra capital A. So maintain the format of writing a package. Question 5. I told you something about Julia REPL. So just give functions of a Julia REPL. That's question 5. Give functions of a Julia REPL. So if give functions, I am expecting you to tell me something about read, about loop. Hata nimewaambia answers, but give functions of a Julia REPL. That is question 5. Today I've said something to do with the delimiter. So write delimiters for every data type that you have learned so far. Write delimiters for every data type that you have learned so far. Uh-huh. So we've learned strings. So the delimiter for string, you can write it there. We've learned vectors. The delimiter for vectors, you can write it there. So that is question, is it 5 or 6? That is question 6. Mtu anaweza niambia ni question gani? Then the next question, ask a friend for their name, age, height. Ask a friend for their name, age, height, and I want to add another one. And what can you ask your friend about? Okay, let's just use those ones. Najua mshaandika, so let me just, what can you ask your friend about apart from age, apart from name, age, height? No, you cannot ask them their body count. What can you ask a friend? Oh, Terry have said pardon. So which one do we pardon? You can just tell me which one to pardon. The last one I was saying is the question, I think it's question 6. Question 6, ask your friend for their name, age, height, and place of residence. Yeah, hizo ziko fiti. For their name, age, height, and place of residence, and then use string interpolation to display a message that includes all those values that you have asked. Actually, a name can be a value if it is if it is assigned to a variable. We can just call it a value, though it is not a number, but we can just call it a value because it has been assigned to a variable. So if you say that A is Morris, so the value of A is Morris. That is why I'm using the word value. So ask a friend for their name, age, height, and place of residence, and then use string interpolation to display a message that includes all those values. Question 6, that is. Another question. Another question must be on what now we've done last in our class. So what did we do last? We did something to do with vectors. So this is the question I'm going to give you there. Oh, question 5. So Terry, sijui question 5 ilikuwa about nini? Because they are not anywhere written. They are not written anywhere here. So I don't know what it's about. So
Kuhusu delimiters.
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 Oh, sasa nitakumbuka kweli kitu niliwaambia. But I just said maybe list or state the delimiters for every data type that you have learned so far. For example, you've learned vector. what is the delimiter for a vector? You have learned strings. What is the delimiter for a string? So state those delimiters. You can just list them. You can just list the delimiters for string and say string. Hata nimewaambia answer ya string if you have seen that what I've done. But whatever, the important thing is you should know. So if you know, hata kama umejua from me, yeah, it doesn't matter. So question 6 nimewambia. Now question 7. Question 7 is coming from whatever we've learned here. It's about vectors. So I'm going to give you something on vectors. What can I give you on vectors? Hadi matrix. Ndawapea vector na matrix. Yeah, create a vector of your choice. Create a vector of your choice and do the following operations on that vector. Question 7, eh? Create a vector of your choice and do the following operations. Actually, just say create vectors of your choice. Vectors, you can create as many as possible. Create vectors of your choice and do the following operations on that vector, on those vectors. Kizungu ngumu. Create vectors of your choice and do the following operations on those vectors. Now, the first operation, sort. Sort those vectors. You can sort all of them. You can create two, a minimum of two. It's just okay. You don't have to create 10 vectors. 2, 3, sort. That is the first operation. Another one, indexing. Do some indexing on those vectors. Number 3, do some arithmetic on those vectors. That's number 3. Number 4, concatenate. Concatenate. Or do some concatenation. Do some concatenation. The 5th operation, sum. Do some sum. The 6th, maximum. Just give me some maximum value in each vector. Or maybe after sorting or after concatenating. Oh, sorry. After concatenating, maybe you can now give us the final minimum value in that vector. Anything like that. Like just play with those things. Minimum, maximum. I've said maximum. You can give me minimum as well. Ningewambia mean, but mean because it has not worked in our class, I'm going to see why it did not work. Then we sort out that one, and in the next class, you'll do something to do with mean. Now, the last exercise, the last question in the assignment, a matrix. Oh, it must come from a matrix. So it is very simple. Create a matrix that will assign a value. Create a matrix that will assign an age value to a person's name. For example, what we were doing here, you remember what we did? We did with Jill, Jane, and Joy.
Pardon.
Create a matrix that will. Yes, you remember what we did here. You see, oh, you cannot see, but remember what we did with Jill, Jane, and Joy. We wrote the names and then assigned them ages. So you Jill is 32, Jane was 18, Joy was 23. So that is what I want you to create. Create a matrix that will match. Just use the name match, the word match, that will match names and ages. Is there something like ages? Age values, huh? That will match names and age values. So it may be of 3 people or 4 people. That is your choice to make. Meaning that the first row will be names, the second row will be will be age values. All right, that's the final assignment. So this is how I'm expecting you to do the assignment. Remember how you always do the exercises, the same process, but the questions where I asked what is Julia, what is programming, you write them using hash. All right, but don't make them a title, because if you make them a title, they will look so big. Imagine writing, defining programming, computer programming is blah 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 blah, and then you make it a title. It will be something very big. So don't make them titles, just write them using hash like that, right? They will appear blue, ziache hivyo. So that is the ones that needs just that needs you to write them using the comment symbol, and the comment symbol is hash. The remaining ones, just do the same way you always do them. Then how do you save? When saving it as a notebook, ensure that maybe you put your name there. Put your name there ndio nijue. Umejua mkicollect zote zikiwa the same, all of you unapata mtu ameandika exercise 2 dot assignment zinakonga dot ipj whatever, if it is a notebook. So all of them zikiwa dot, it gives me some hard task. So just write the names. Some of you have been writing names, which is commendable. Just write name when you are naming them. Name them using your name. So you can write assignment 1 Terry, assignment 1 Gloria, assignment 1 Stanley. Yeah, that way it will be very easy for me. Again, this is the third lesson. We have not done any story. I said there will be a storytelling session, but sasa hiyo story yangu nitaicombine na niipige kwa lesson moja. The story is so nice, you'll like it. So the lesson is over, and you can leave at your own leisure. Thank you.